Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. Welcome to my Monster Energy Supercross 3, the official video game re-review. You're probably asking, why am I saying re-review? Well, we already released a video review of this game. However, it was lacking in any online modes whatsoever. The developer has since released a patch, and we feel that it was a large enough patch to warrant a re-review of the game. Now, let's start off then by saying that there are 100 riders of both the 450SX and 250SX categories, with 15 official stadiums included. In this iteration, you'll also be able to join for the very first time official teams in career mode. Thing is, that's all very well and good, but what does it play like? And I have to say, it plays pretty damn well, but it does take a lot of practice. I'm not a massive fan of the sport, but I can appreciate how difficult it is and how much skill is required for these riders to not only race around a track, but to be able to perform jumps with the right timing and speed without crashing into a mound or into another rider. Now, in the first few hours of the game, it took a good while to get used to. A lot of frustration ensued, I have to admit. I'd end up flying off the track and smashing into other riders, or just not getting my jumps right. An arcade game this is definitely not. This is simulation at its purest, and it's taken very seriously. One of the gripes I did have in terms of fun, though, was if you fell off just once, you'd more or less be done in the race. It's very difficult to make the comeback. However, there is a very handy rewind option included, so if you make a mistake, you can just rewind and start from the point where that mistake was made. So, if you do want to play this game and not use that like I do, because I feel like it's kind of cheating, it's essential that you make perfection your goal, because just one mistake can cost you dearly. And well, when there's so many variables at play here, you're going to make lots of mistakes, and that will either annoy you or it will spur you on to learn every facet of the tracks here. It does take practice to land jumps at the optimum point so you can get speed going into the next corner, and it takes skill knowing exactly when to brake and accelerate and have those wheels pointing in the right direction, that's for sure. If you hit a mound with that front wheel, your rider's flying off somewhere, never to recover. This game is a challenge, but one that I did relish, and I do think that the AI riders are a little bit too good even on easy mode, I must admit. Either that or I'm just terrible at this game no matter how hard I was trying. There are lots of settings to change the bike dynamics as well as make the game more or less difficult, with a range of assists that you can turn on or off to your leisure. There are plenty of options here to keep you entertained, both for casual players and the hardcore. For single players, there is career mode. I'll get into that in a little bit later, just bear with me. You have the choice of the single event here, where you can choose from standard, triple crown, West Showdown with class 250s only, and you have time attack mode, which is one of my favorite ways to play this game, as you can leave your times on the online leaderboard, which is always great if you're a competitive beast like me. Now, championship allows you to take part in a sequence of races. There are a load of challenges too, from head to head, and mind the gates and more. In compound mode, you have the ability to explore the compound with no rules or finish lines. It's basically a free roam mode, and you can now play this with friends. However, I got a little bit bored of this within about 5 minutes. There is a lot of content here. It's not going to appeal to all of you, all of the content that is included. However, for me, I enjoyed career mode and time attack, which really took my fancy. In terms of customizing your rider and bike, there are options from coloring the bike, the rider's clothes and equipment, to changing all the numbers. Of course, you'll need credits to buy better looking gear, all of which can be earned through the career mode, where you'll have all sorts of options from a one shot, you can race with just one event, or semi-pro, where you'll qualify and have the race, to the real thing, where you can take part in qualifying, heats, last chance qualifier, and the main event. So for all of you fans out there, this will have you going for hours and hours on end. Just as well though, because the price of entry is high. Now, multiplayer modes does include local multiplayer, but if you want to play locally, you'll have to have a few copies of the game, and at £54 each, it's going to cost you quite a lot. Now, the patch has gone live, and they've added online multiplayer options, which is very welcome. The game doesn't have a dedicated server like on other consoles, but despite this, you can play in co-op, in free roaming, or set up a lobby with a whole host of options, from creating a single event where you can play standard, triple crown, and East-West Showdown. There is knockout, where you can earn points based on the position of the last countdown. checkpoint, where you basically have to race to hit checkpoints positioned along the route, and treasure hunt, where you can challenge others to find treasure in the compound mode. Now there's lots here for you to enjoy with friends or strangers if you so desire, which is a large update, and we're glad it's made it onto the Switch version, as it now does not feel like such a big downgrade compared to the other consoles. For those of you that like making your own tracks as well, there is some good news. You can with the track editor. It's not for me, I'm more of a player than creator, but it works well enough and is logical to create something decent. In terms of audio, here you have a bunch of songs included, but I've always been one of these types of people to sort of turn the audio off because it's kind of off-putting the backing music here. For the purpose of the review though, I have kept them playing so you can hear a little for yourself. The announcer keeps things sounding exciting at the beginning of each event.
The 30-second board is up.
But that's where it ends. I would have loved to have heard some in-game commentary when you're actually racing. The sound effects are rather good. I mean, the motorbike sound as good as they can, I suppose. In terms of the visuals and performance, I'm rather impressed. It runs at around 60 frames per second. Even though there are some dips from time to time, it's nothing massively noticeable. I prefer this as it keeps the game running very smoothly. However, there has been a hit to the visual fidelity, which is to be expected. The riders look decent, and as I say, there was no noticeable slowdown, and I actually preferred playing this in handheld mode. There was quite a lot of loading of the tracks that you can see within the game. There's parts of the tracks that load up right in front of you, and it kind of looks like pop-up, which is a little distracting, but it's not terrible by any means. Again, I'm rather more critical due to the price point here. The tracks, well, there's not much you can really do to make them look fantastic. They're dirt tracks at the end of the day. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more effects like mud splattering around, but it will suffice, and the track editor is also quite simple looking, easy to use. The rider editor's not the best I've ever seen, but there are loads of options, which is cool. And you also have some different viewing perspectives, although I liked playing from the camera angle that's just behind the motorbike. So let's talk about value. The game is expensive. You're looking at paying a monster £53.99 here in the UK, and in the US you're looking at paying $49.99, so it is cheaper in the USA. If you're based in the UK, I suggest you buy it from the USA eShop. All you need to do is set up an account over there, which is really easy. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below if you don't know how to do that, and I will link you a guide, not a problem. And in Europe, you're looking at a massive $59.99 as well. So as I say, expensive. Now, if you're not a massive fan of the sport, then it's a lot of money to part with. However, if you are, then I can see the appeal for sure. I personally would wait for a sale, and if you look at the trajectory of parts 1 and 2, you can see that the sales on those games went all the way down to around £15. So I'm assuming that in time this will also come down as well. Since the patch though, the value is a lot better here, and so we're updating the score in our review. It's still expensive. We would recommend waiting for a sale, but at least there's nothing massively omitted here. But before that, let's give you some reasons to subscribe to SwitchWatch. Everybody loves a bargain, so every Sunday we release at 7 PM the best bargains for the best games on the Nintendo Switch at the cheapest prices for you to pick up. And on top of that, you can win $10 in that video just by letting us know what your pick of the week is in the comment section down below. On Monday, let's get physical. You know it makes sense. Jordan makes a video with all the physical releases that week that you can pick up. Fantastic for those collectors. And lastly, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch Lite at 50,000 subscribers to one of you lucky people out there. Help us get to 50,000 so we can do even bigger and greater giveaways. On to that verdict then. Since the patch, online modes have been added, which is welcome. This now feels like a much better all-round package, and if you're a massive fan of the sport, you're not going to be disappointed. It is a great little game to play on the move, and there are so many options, whether in single player, locally, or now online. It is challenging, but persevere, and the sense of achievement when you get better is definitely worth it. I still feel that it is on the rather expensive side, so would recommend, of course, waiting for a sale. Nevertheless, fans are going to enjoy this. A 7.5 then, out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this review, and if you did, leave a thumbs up for us. We'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, I'm going to put some other videos up above, our bargains videos, physicals that release every Monday, and another review for you to check out. We'll hopefully see you over there. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you again on the next one.